Hello, everybody. Mike Ader here again. Anxiety. Goodness, episode 67. All right. So, the name of this show is The Rebuild. All right, let's talk about some anxiety. Well, so I had two shows come to me tonight or today, and I don't know how all this content comes to me, but I actually chose the one that was more positive because the other one wasn't very positive at all. So, the rebuild. Basically, what I done was in the spring of 2017, I went on the offensive uh, against anxiety. I had suffered with it at that point for probably 18 years, 17, 18 years. And I had exhausted all my resources. I felt like I proceeded after that to get on a bunch more head drugs and things of this nature. So I don't think that in 2017 I figured everything out. 2017 is just when I decided to I got came to a crossroads, and it was either fight back or give up, you know. And at the time, I had probably a 3 or 4 year old son, and giving up wasn't an option, nor would I have ever probably accepted giving up. But you can imagine, as long as I had suffered with this pretty much daily, it was wearing on me. So I decided to go on the offensive. So, in my younger years, when I was very happy, healthy, and vibrant, I loved lifting weights and I loved going to the gym. So, I don't know how I mustered up the. Okay. I'm gonna try to make this as honest as possible. So, there was a local gym that wasn't too far from my home, so I could actually get in my truck and drive to it. But I remember having seen people walk out of it, and I thought, I would love to be that person, but I will never be that person. At this point in time, I was very negative in my head, as you can imagine. So I remember seeing people walk out of this gym, and I Googled it several times and just looked at all of the equipment and the hours that it was open and the hours that it was the least busy. Okay. So I somehow mustered up the strength to walk in this gym and no, 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 no. I called this gym and was asking, I was grilling the lady that answered the phone all these questions. And finally she said, "Look, come in and try it. We'll give you, it was either 5 days or a week free. Just come try it, see if you like it." So I told her, I was like, "Are you sure Sunday is the least busy day, least busy day of the week, and what is the least busy time on Sunday?" She said, "Come here about 10 o'clock on Sunday. Everybody will be at church, and you should just about have the gym to yourself." So that's what I did. I showed up on a Sunday at 10 o'clock, and I go in this gym, and there was only a handful of people in there, but you should have seen the way I walked in. I just walked in, just tucked. I think I had a hoodie on, and just, please nobody look at me, please, me not know anybody. And I walk in, and of course nobody even took a look at me. I was like, oh, that's kind of a letdown. And I got there's all this equipment. I'm familiar with this equipment because when I was younger, like I said, I went to the gym. So I go up and I get on a treadmill, and I just start walking on a treadmill. And I'm just looking around the room, looking at everybody, begging people, don't talk to me, don't come over here, don't say anything. I'm sick. I'm anxious. I'm anxious as I can be. And I walked on this treadmill for a little while. I was like, okay, no one is paying attention to me. And I wonder if that has something to do with my anxiety. It's like, did I think? What was I thinking that these people are here for themselves? What was I thinking that they were gonna? But anyway, so after that, I seen a machine that I recognized, and I think it was just a overhead press machine, and it was real close to the real close to the entrance. So I get off the treadmill and I walk over there. I don't put no weight or anything on it. I just start. I do it, and then I look around like no, still nobody was paying no attention to me. So it had been 10, 15 years since I had been in a gym, and when I went to a gym as a young man, it was a very social gathering. We blared the radio. We lifted weights as 3, 4 men teams, I go in this gym and no one's lifting weights together. Everyone actually has on earbuds or your earphones, and everyone's staring at their phones. They're not even talking to each other. They're not lifting weights together. They're not interacting at all in the gym. And I was like, man, I got to go get some earbuds because there wasn't even any music playing, like maybe some real light music in the background, like the TVs, they're all Bluetoothed. So everything Bluetooth. So I think I did a second set on that machine, and then I I I got to feeling good, and I'm not explaining it. Like when you lift weights, you get this high and you get to feeling good. So I went to another machine and I done it. And man, I got on the phone. I can't remember who I called, but I called someone. I was like, "You're not gonna believe it. I'm in a gym. I'm having a blast." So I think I completely overdid it that day. I lifted for 30, 45 minutes to an hour. Didn't even really want to leave, but I was in such bad shape I had to. And I have actually been going to a gym for 5 years. Basically 4, 5 days a week ever since. In that first year I enjoyed that so much that I was going 6 and 7 days a week. But anyway, so how that works out with the rebuild was I started to see health. So when I learned the I am healthy, I needed to look in the mirror and see health staring back at me. So that's how I started to rebuild that part. Well, I did that for about a year and a half, 2 years, and I was still very much anxious, very much an anxious person. Still very much drinking heavy, heavy alcohol loads. So I stumbled across Pastor Joel Osteen preaching a sermon about mind viruses. And I watched that, and he pegged what was going on in my head to a T. Okay, he just said, you got to. There's nothing wrong with your head. It's just full of viruses. Remove the viruses, and your head will be right. Fill it back. Remove the toxic viruses. Put proper programming back in your brain. You get to choose what you want to put in your brain. I rebuilt my mind over the course of a year. I listened to so much Joel Osteen. I know this is funny, but I worked out physically hard. This is how I came from the depths of fetal position on the couch, couldn't even go to work. chugging beers, I was losing everything. I mean, I was losing everything to now having it all. I mean, no ego. I mean, I can't have an ego, no ego, but I got it all back, and then so much more now. But anyway, so yeah, I binged listened to Joel Osteen, everything he done in up to from the time he started to 28. I even listened to some of his dad's preaching, which I didn't like. So I went back to Joe Osteen and Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. Man, he really inspired the heck out of me. And I listen to a lot of gospel music. I'm not a super Christian or anything by no means, but that gospel music was actually, for me at the time, was uplifting and positive for the most part. Okay, so yeah, for the next year and a half, I rebuilt my mind. Okay, now I was still drinking heavy, and I was still anxious, but it was not as bad. And then I was actually setting hunting, drinking, listening to a podcast with my in my earbuds. Oh no, I was just searching my phone for anything that would help me quit drinking at this point. I knew at this point the work I'd put into my physical body, my mental body, and I knew if I could just somehow beat the alcohol, that the anxiety would go away. Well, that's when I come across a podcast. Just I had listened to several different podcasts, and nothing would help me with quitting drinking. And one day, just I keyed it in on my iPhone, and I don't even know what I keyed in. Quit drinking podcast, sobriety podcast, something. And the first thing that popped up this day was Recovery Elevator, Paul Churchill. I listened to one of the episodes, and he had this really calm, soothing voice, and he told my story. I had heard a bunch of alcoholics speak, and none of them drank like I drank, and none of them drank to get rid of anxiety the way I did. But Paul Churchill did. He drank as much as I drank for as long as I drank, and he had anxiety as bad as I had it. And having someone to relate to, and I listened to his story, and I done what he done. I dove into recovery from alcohol the way I dove into my body, rebuilding my body, and the way I dug into rebuilding my mind, and I just dug into recovery. And I spent the next year binge listening to that here Recovery Elevator. Listened to every episode at least twice. Dang near had them memorized. I listened to about 5 different recovery podcasts. I mean, it was 24/7, buddy. I was serious. I wanted to be done with alcohol. And lo and behold, after just a couple of weeks of getting the alcohol out of my system, guess what? The anxiety went away 100%. Now, there was a couple of little hiccups, and they were stress related, okay? And me not fully understanding what the anxiety was like I understand it now. I actually understand anxiety way more now since I started doing this podcast, relearning everything I learned with a fresh new perspective. Oh my goodness. It's brilliant. I'm sorry this episode was so long, but I had to tell you my rebuild process. I would love for you to try this. If you do, if it helps, please let me know. Because I'm trying to help you, and in return, help me. So, anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Sorry it was so long, but I had to do it. Until tomorrow, peace.